Hi, this is my review of Men and Monsters for MYFAROG by Varg Vikernes. Men and Monsters is a very handy tool, a reference and guide to the men, monsters, and organizations of the world of MYFAROG. Here you're going to find antagonists and allies for your adventures and campaigns. Now let's talk about the quality of the book. This is a softcover book. It's sturdy, handy. However, I will also handle it with care like the other MYFAROG books, so it doesn't get creases or wrinkles. And you have a few illustrations here in the minimalistic style of MYFAROG. A lot of them are animal and beast and monster tracks, such as this one over here. And that's quite nice because a lot of the players, maybe some player characters, could be specialized in tracking, and that way you will have no trouble describing the different tracks and prints. So, or maybe you could just show them the image of the specific beast or creature they are tracking. Everything is well organized and explained, and it also has a table of contents, so you will have no trouble at all looking for things throughout this book. Now let's talk about the contents. You have a very nice variety of creatures, and one of the things that I like about the monsters here is that they actually express that meaning of monstrum, of the Latin word, of something being shown forth or revealed, because monsters in MYFAROG they don't feel generic or perhaps tailored to a specific type of gameplay, because as you well know, many fantasy monsters are there to challenge the players rather than represent some sort of coherent or a logical thematic element within a campaign setting. But here all the monsters feel mysterious and just beyond the range of the realms of men, so they are quite useful to use in different types of adventures. If you want to play it as sort of like a hack and slash adventure, you can do that, but if you want to play it as like a sort of mystery, many of these monsters are quite unknown and sometimes feel somewhat alien, so that's very nice of this particular bestiary. So you have different types of animals, such as poisonous creatures, bears, boars, birds. You have giant birds, and you have many different giant versions of what would otherwise be ordinary creatures. So that's nice, it adds that fantasy element, and a lot of these creatures can also be hunted down to eat and to enhance that aspect of hunting and survival in MYFAROG. And then you have elves and nymphs. You have animated objects, which I like a lot because they are quite flexible. Maybe they are guarding some sort of sacred place, or maybe they were created by some sort of sorcerer. So that's nice. You have a good variety of Ettins and trolls. And trolls in MYFAROG are a lot more folkloric, because you have the typical Dungeons and Dragons troll that is just there rather to present like a challenge to the player characters, but here you have corporeal trolls, incorporeal trolls, so they are more akin like very enigmatic and supernatural creatures. And you have a lot of human non-player characters, and it's funny because about a few weeks ago one of my viewers, Vigiluminatus, told me that he liked when a bestiary had a lot of like human enemies or humanoid adversaries with different traits and skills and belonging to different factions and such. And here you have that. You have all the different organizations with their leaders and their members. So you have the liberated, the rangers, the gardeners, the antediluvians, the merchants, the pirates, and with details on different organizations, their leaders. Their leaders are quite skilled and somewhat powerful in my opinion, so that's nice. They could represent like interesting bosses for a campaign. And then you have rules on advanced tracking. It also takes into account the number of days, how old are those tracks, and if you are chasing down prey, the way that creature was traveling also affects your tracking check. And you have encounter tables that are separated by category, so you have eaten tables, animals and cursed trees, humans, elves and nymphs. And that's handy because sometimes your adventure has no place for a specific type of creatures. For example, if you're adventuring in a human settlement, you won't find much use for corporeal trolls tables, or maybe your adventure has to do with more of the supernatural side of MYFAROG. Well, you could use the eaten or incorporeal trolls tables. Now, let me tell you what I think of the Men and Monsters book. Well, this is not a must-have, but I do think that is one of the most handy books that you can get for MYFAROG, for the Mythmaster, because non-player characters and monsters breathe life into the game. You can focus on the traveling aspect of MYFAROG, on the journey, on the Tolkien-esque side of things, describing the mountains, the lakes, the forests. But if the player characters don't run into something that is alive, so to speak, or maybe undead, the adventure won't have as much variety and won't be as fun otherwise. So this is a very useful tool, and I would consider getting this one. Well, thanks for watching my review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. See you later.